Here's an excerpt from a video I recorded a month back. I was reading a book on about general studies. It's a type of book which has a collection of factual knowledge that is needed to pass some kind of objective examination. But yeah, reading that, I was reading about something and it made me go on a tangent. Uh, this is more of like a me monologuing about the topic that you will eventually listen to. I did not spend any time critically analyzing it. I'm going to leave that to the listener, and I'm going to leave that to time, because I think with time I will be able to dilute the argument that I made uh, in this audio. The video was originally 30 minutes long. I ended up scrubbing the later half of it because I think that was a completely different topic of discussion. So yeah, uh, oh yeah, you will see some visual elements in the video because I realized that the argument I was making in the video is just it can be understood without the visual element, so you don't have to see my face trying to understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, I think the 90% or 95% of the argument can be understood without the video. That's why it's sort of in a podcast style manner. Uh, so yeah, here's the audio. Thanks for listening.
I like how your existence does not matter. Like you I was just reading this book, general studies. It has knowledge about literally all kinds of necessary things that are needed in examinations. But then again, this is a very good knowledge textbook. I was reading diseases involving the red blood cells, right? So you got anemia, you got sickle cell diseases, you got thalassemia, then you got hemolysis, and this happens because one thing is present in low amounts, or things are not there. What surprises me is that naturally, as you are born, the environment is acting against you. Like system doesn't care, and if, of course, we were if we were smart enough, we would not replicate the same system which the environment forces on us, uh, to collective humans. Like, how do I explain this? uh, we know that this is a reality, right? Diseases happen, people die. At the same time, uh, we know that we all have to work together, right? And if we have to work together, we need to learn from existing knowledge, and the existing knowledge is this, correct? And there's a reality that your existence is being bombarded with shit ton of things. You would build systems that are resilient to that, right? That's why STEM has helped here and there, but more or less it has been not sufficient. It has been essential but not sufficient, right? Got the whole academics, the whole number of ways to diagnose diseases and fix them, but there is no end to it. Like, we are still figuring out diseases. There's still no solutions to a large section of diseases, right? You take this as an example with, for example, uh, just modern day capitalism, right? If you stop earning, uh, you will not be able to pay your rent, and your minimum wage comes down to 0 rupees, or wherever you live. Uh, so we have built a system that replicates this exact same thing, right? Like, if we were to say that there were no diseases, uh, we assume that humans might not die. Uh, but if this is so, if The environment is the like environment that pure humans, the early humans were born in, tells them that hey, the earth is against you, or at least your own evolution existence is against you. You cannot do anything about it, right? Sure, we were able to convey thoughts and knowledge, and we are here where we are now. I'm able to record this video while talking about these diseases, right? But I think somewhere as a society we fail to acknowledge that we are replicating these systems again. Like uh, just from like an etymology point of view, I think a lot of us don't even agree what capitalism is, and I don't even care what we call it. Call it, I don't know, some person's economy or whatever. But if you stop earning, you're out of the fucking ecosystem, right? Not you'll not be able to earn anything. You will not be able to afford anything. You will not be able to feed yourself. And whether disease exists or not, you are dead. So we aren't really smart. I'm sorry, I'm like yabbing a lot, but do you know? Do you realize what we did? Like we didn't really do anything. Like we are just still there. Like nothing has been done. Like if we were to hypothetically say just hey, the diseases, uh, you know, if we acknowledge that diseases exist and we are well aware of those diseases and we well aware of what happens when something is, for example, a plastic anemia is caused by inability of the bone marrow to produce only red blood cells. I don't even know where the fuck bone marrow is. Is it in my knee? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that we know what this is. At the same time, we know that there are problems outside of a human body as well, like the way we live and the way we communicate with each other, the way we run our countries and all, right? And we are not able to solve problems in that space. Forget about science progressing enough to cure these diseases permanently, which I don't think will happen because the human body is running machine and it is basically a stock, right? Basically a stock. So each body will have certain set of all the things like minerals, vitamins, the oxygen, food, everything going in and going out of the system in different ways. So if the stock goes down in the human body for one specific thing, you are dead. Yeah, not directly, but you will be dead in the future. So the same thing is replicated outside of a human body, which is surprising to me because we know that the value of a human life is more in comparison to, let's say, the value of a small company running 10 hiring 10 people or whatever. So but we didn't really solve anything even outside of the human body, right? Forget about science, that's what I'm saying. Science will progress with its time, a lot of academics need to exist and research needs to happen, sure. But we also know the human body is really complex. What is not complex is understanding people's needs outside of a body. Like I know what I want, and two people also know what they want. It shouldn't be that hard to communicate and go for a win-win strategy, right? I don't know, man. It just seems funny because when you break it down from in that context, it just feels like we are nowhere. Like if you were to like reduce, sorry, not reduce, erase a part of history, this current history, let's say from this time to, let's say, I don't know, early 19th, early 20th century, right? People living in that stage knew what the problems of the human body were, what the problems of the people living in society were, right? And they tried their best to solve those problems in different ways. Could be anything, right? And there were some diseases that were out of their reach to solve, some problems out of their reach to solve. And when you compare from that perspective, that time to this time, nothing really changes, right? Which comes back to the original philosophical point of suffering is constant. And I don't know. I mean, what I'm always not able to absorb the idea of that suffering is constant. I mean, I know I have factual proof of it that suffering is indeed constant if we compare history, because nothing really changed, right? You could argue that hey, we fix few diseases. There is, diagnosed for everything now, which was not there back in the 18th, 19th century, and I would totally agree with you. But we still haven't fixed anything. It's still there. Like if you were to say that treatment for cancer exists, it may not be affordable right now, right? And I have a personal story with cancer, but that's for another day. Uh, but yeah, I mean, when you break it down, these things, if you just dumb down these ideas, nothing really changed from like whatever early century to present times, 21st century, and we know what our problems are. At least not funda at least problems that are not fundamental, right? I know curing diseases is a huge overreach, and that is more of a fundamental thing, like fixing the human body itself to be not be free of, not be liver, not be, should never go out of stocks that we just talked about, right? uh, but even outside of the human body, between outside of your body and my body, between you and me, there is a system, and you have shit ton of people, you have a system between them. We know what non-science problems also exist, and we also know the solutions of those problems very well. But collectively, all of us are not able to do anything, and that is my problem, because that's why I always disagree with. I think I will always disagree with this statement that suffering is constant, because it's not that suffering is constant. It just means that uh, our inability to fix problems is constant. Do you know what this? I mean, do you? Am I able to make any sense? Like suffering exists. One specific suffering exists in a subsystem of whatever sets, right? And a solution for that also exists. A very well defined solution that is also, let's say, resilient. But we are not able to apply to it. Now, whatever the reason is, maybe out of personal greed, our inability to be powerful enough, our inability to come together, uh, could be anything, right? So the problem, the suffering, the problem, and the solution exists, but we are not applying it. So in that context, I don't believe suffering is constant, because what is constant is our inability to apply a solution to a problem. And I think a lot might get answered if you just explore this specific philosophical point, like what holds you and me back on solving certain problems, not fundamental problems, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure some philosophers have already argued this